ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 19. King Yayati achieves liberation. Text 26. Shrutva Gatham Devayani Shrutva Gatham Devayani Mene Prastobham Atmanaha Mene Prastobham Atmanaha Stri Pumsoho Sneha Vaiklavyat Stri Pumso Sneha Vaiklavyat Parihasam Iva Iritam Parihasam Iveritam Shrutva Gatham Devayani Mene Prastobhamatmanaha Stri Pumso Sneha Vaiklavyat Parihasam Iveritam Shrutva Gatham Devayani Mene Prastobhamatmanaha Stri Pumso Sneha Vaiklavyat Parihasam Iveritam. Shrutva, hearing. Gatham, the narration. Devayani, Queen Devayani, the wife of Maharaja Yayati. Mene, understood. Prastobham, Atmanaha, when instructed for her self-realization. Stri Pumsoha, between the husband and wife. Sneha Vaiklavyat, from an exchange of love and affection. Parihasam, a funny joke or story. Iva, like. Iritam, spoken by Maharaja Yayati. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Vajrayana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When Devayani heard Maharaja Yayati's story of the he-goat and she-goat, she understood that the story, which was presented as if a funny joke for entertainment between husband and wife, was intended to awaken her to her constitutional position. Can you repeat the translation? When Devayani heard Maharaja Yayati's of the he-goat and the she-goat, she understood that the story, which was presented as if a funny joke for entertainment between husband and wife, was intended to awaken her to her constitutional position. Purport. When one actually awakens from material life, one understands his real position as an eternal servant of Krishna. This is called liberation. Muktir hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. Under the influence of Maya, everyone living in this material world thinks that he is the master of everything. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. One thinks that there is no God or controller and that one is independent and can do anything. This is the material condition, and when one awakens from this ignorance, he is called liberated. Maharaja Yayati had delivered Devayani from the well, and finally, as a dutiful husband, he instructed her with the story about the he goat and she goat, and thus delivered her from the misconception of material happiness. Devayani was quite competent to understand her liberated husband, and therefore she decided to follow him as his dutiful wife. Thus ends the Bhaktivinoda Purport and translation to Canto 9, Chapter 19, Text 26 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shrutva Gatham Devayani Iritam. Devayani, when Devayani Shrutva heard Iritam from her husband Maharaja Yayati, what did she hear? Gatham, a narration about a he goat and a she goat. A story about a he goat and a she goat. Iva, but it was presented uh, parihasam, like a funny joke. Parihasam Iva. It was presented as a funny joke. Uh, Stri Pumsoho, a funny joke for entertainment purpose between husband and wife. Sometimes husband and wife they have jokes among themselves. So like that, Maharaja Yayati shared a story or a joke to Devayani. So Stri Pumso Sneha Vaiklavyat. He exchanged this story with her because of his relationship with her. But Devayani Mene understood Prasthobham, the intended meaning of this funny joke or story. Although it is presented as a funny joke, the story of the he goat and the she goat, still she understood Mene Prasthobham, the actual meaning, what was intended from that story. And she also understood Atmanaha, that this story is actually, although presented as a joke, is actually is indicative of their life. And she has to wake up. So, what is it exactly then? So, basically, Devayani and Maharaja Jayati enjoyed family life, a life of material happiness for 1000 years. And after that, Maharaja Yayati, not being satisfied with the material desires and realizing that it is only increasing than decreasing, he developed detachment from these material desires and diverted his mind towards the Supreme Lord by surrendering himself unto the Supreme Lord. And by diverting his mind to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet, immediately he felt great satisfaction and free from the disturbance of the agitation of material happiness. So, after realizing the vanity of material desires, he wanted to help his wife also to realize that material happiness is not going to satisfy us. Rather, it will only increase and increase. The disturbance of material happiness will only be increasing and not reducing. The disturbance meaning here, it is not satisfying. The quality of material happiness is such that it will not satisfy the soul. It will not satisfy the soul. So, having understood and realized that he wanted to help his wife, his better half, and therefore he narrated the same situation which they both are going through by narrating the story of a he goat and a she goat. And finally, how the he goats gave up interest in material enjoyment. Like that, how Maharaja Yayati also gave up his interest in material enjoyment. Now he's instructing his wife in this verse, better you also divert your attention towards the Supreme Lord, who is the origin of everything, the source of everything, and you will get eternal happiness and eternal shelter. So that is the intended meaning. She also understood that she has to awaken her connection with the Supreme Lord, has her eternal connection with the Supreme Lord. She has to realize her constitutional position. So prastobam atmanaha. So she understood that actually this story is intended to awaken her towards self-realization. And what is self-realization? Towards awakening one's constitutional position. So she is an intelligent woman. She didn't become frustrated. She didn't become angry that her husband has left her without being cared for. Rather, she took it as a great uh, uh, blessing and grace that her husband actually instructed her properly about the futility of material happiness and awakened her to self-realization. She was very glad. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, when one actually awakens from material life, one understands his real position as an eternal servant of Krishna. So long we're in material life, we forget our real identity as a spirit soul and part and parcel of Krishna, and the relationship between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord being that of eternal servitorship of the Jiva towards the Supreme Lord Krishna. And this is the reality. This is the fact of the matter. But while in material life or being covered by bodily concept of life, being influenced by the bodily concept of life, we forget our original identity as an Atma, and the Atma being an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. We forget. In fact, then one may think, okay, I have forgotten. If this is the truth, okay, my friend has forgotten, my neighbor has forgotten. You mean every single person I see in this world has forgotten? No, can't be. Therefore, the soul reconciles. No, no, these are all false. Maybe 1%, 2%, 3%, maybe they may be an illusion. But here we see in this world, every single person you meet is in bodily concept of life. forgetful of Krishna and his connection with Krishna. Therefore, we tend to believe that this is the truth, and what is presented in the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita mostly is not a truth. But the fact is, this is called common illusion. Maya has got, the material energy of the Lord has got two energies, by which she binds the conditioned soul to this world. One is called Avarnatmika Shakti. The other one is called Prakshepatmika Shakti. So Avarnatmika Shakti means, first of all, the soul is made to forget. Avarna, Avarnatmika Shakti. So Durga, she has got two potencies by which she keeps us to this world. Forgetful of Krishna, forgetful of even ourselves, that we are Atma. Everybody lives in this world with the idea that I am this body. That's what's called bodily concept. It is actually a concept. You see the word English, proper use the word concept of life. It's a concept. It's not, that means it's not a reality. Bodily concept of life. You think life is based on bodily concept. I think I am this body. You think you are your body. Everybody also thinks and lives in a way that is his body. Not only human beings, even animals. A dog thinks I'm a dog. Does a dog think that I'm an Atma? When a human being does not think, where there's a possibility of a human being to think, how do you expect the dog to think that I am a spirit soul? When a human being has the potency to realize I'm not the body, I'm a spirit soul, he is not. He is deep in ignorance, thinking that he is the body. A male thinks he's a male. A female thinks she's a female. A man thinks I am a man. A woman thinks I am a woman. A boy thinks I'm a boy. An old man thinks I'm an old man. A young man thinks I'm a young man. And somebody thinks I am fat, I am thin, I'm intelligent, he's dull, he's smart, he's not so smart. All of these things are bodily concept of life. We should know. He's black, he's fair complexioned. All of these are concerning bodily concept of life. So it's hard to come out of this bodily concept, which is engulfing the soul, covering the soul. Like this, there are millions of such false coverings above the soul, such so thick that practically the soul is not to be seen. So unless you uncover the soul from all these kind of misconceptions, what that soul is, you will not know. Just like in a drama, you make up yourself and accept some other role, and then you put those related costumes. So your real identity is not known. Sometimes your friend may be playing the drama, but you will actually not know that the friend is playing the drama, that particular role. And after the drama is over, then he'll say, "Did you see me?" Said, "Where were you? No, I didn't see you. I was playing that role." So it's hard to believe. So like that, so it's a covering. He has masked himself for enacting a certain role in the drama. Like that, the soul is masked by so many conceptions, false conceptions. First of all, concept. Secondly, it is false conception. Conceptions of life. I am this, I am that, etc. And is trapped by these different kinds of false conceptions. And those conceptions gives rise to different kinds of material bodies. I want to be, think of so many things. I want to be like this. I want to be like that. I want to be a rich man. I want to be a, king. I want to be a minister. I want to be like a butterfly. So many things we desire. And based on all those desires, the soul is awarded a particular body to enjoy or to suffer. Either way. Mostly suffering. actually suffering. Although he assumes that he is happy, but actually it is an entrapment. This body is an entrapment. And the senses are all simply sources of misery. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes this point. Sharira avidya jal jodendriya tahe kal. Sharira avidya, this body is simply ignorance, manifestation of ignorance. We think I'm high. Some people think they are so and so is highly educated, highly learned. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Sharira avidya jal. It's a network of ignorance, not even ignorance, network of ignorance. Can you imagine? Little think about it. It's a network of ignorance. You see, there's a wiring, right? It's just not one wire. There's so many wires. So many wires will be there for computer, for sound system, for fan, for tube light, for you know metal halide lights, for focus lights, different kinds of lightings and sound arrangements, and so many wires will be passing, and all that will be connected to the main, to the transformer. So many wires will be passing. It's a network. This is only one house. Whether there are lakhs and lakhs of houses. Of course, Bhagavad Gita gives the example of a rope. A rope is made of 3 strands, becomes a rope, and then use the rope to bind something. So, like that, we are bound by the network of this body and the senses. And combined together, they produce millions of conceptions of enjoyment in this world, while actually it is suffering. So, we have to come out of this entanglement of this material body and the material senses. So when we are freed from the entanglement of this material conception and awaken our true nature, then it becomes clear what we are, who we are, why we have come to this world. Everything becomes clear. And what should I do? What is my duty? Real duty, eternal duty as a spirit soul. And that's called constitutional position. Prastobam Atmanaha. So Devayani understood that it is meant to awaken her to her constitutional position. In the scriptures, there is what is called as Nyaya. There are different in Nyaya. Nyaya means logic. One Nyaya in this regard is called Supto Hita Nyaya. The logic of waking up from sleep. Supta means sleepy state. Uttitha means to wake up. So Supta Uttitha Nyaya. The logic of getting up from sleep. Waking up from sleep. That means what? It's very beautiful logic. When you get up from your bed, when you're finished your sleeping, when you're woken up from sleep, then you remember what your past was, the previous day was. You know, you're a student, you're a housewife, you're a husband, or whatever you are. You are, working in a certain office, you are so and so. This is your house. Everything becomes clear. When you're sleeping, you forget your identity, your house, your relations, your family members, your work, your responsibility. Everything is forgotten in sleep. Right? But when you wake up, immediately everything becomes clear. Oh, I have to go to office. I have to go to school. I'm so and so. These are my relations, my father, my mother, my brother. This is my house. Because very obvious. We do that every single day. Every night we forget. And every morning we are reminded automatically without effort, right? Provided you wake up. Provided you wake up. When you wake up, automatically your relationship with your family members, your identity, everything becomes clear. Exactly like that. When the soul awakens to its original position, That's called Atma Sakshatkara. Then he realizes, oh, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Vaikuntha, Goloka is my home, not this world. Radha and Krishna are my mother and father. And my G2 is to serve them. I'm an loving, eternal servant of Krishna. So everything becomes clear. But you have to wake up to the spiritual reality from the bodily concept of life. So bodily concept of life means a sleepy state of the soul. The soul has to wake up. Then it is possible. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written one nice song. जीव जागो गोरो चंद बोले कोता निद्रा जाबो माया pisha chira kole. He says, you sleeping souls, wake up, sleeping souls, wake up and chant Gauranga's name. You are sleeping on the lap of Mother Material Nature, thinking her to be your mother. Well, actually, she is a ghost. Pisha chira kole. You are sleeping on the ghost of Maya. In other words, we are leading a ghostly life called the bodily concept of life. See, if you're sleeping on your mother's lap, you will get a good sleep. Suppose you realize that lap is not your mother, it's a ghost. Can you be comfortable? Immediately you will run away. But foolishly, because you're closed your eyes and you're sleeping, you're not realized on the ghost's lap you are sleeping. Similarly, the soul is sleeping in the ghostly body called the material body, thinking everything is fine. And ghost always disturbs. Ghosts always disturb, isn't it? They don't give you a peaceful experience. Similarly, so long you're in the ghostly material body, bodily concept of life, you will be disturbed, you will face misery, you will never come out of this misery and the agitation from this material body in the form of, okay, you can enjoy in this way, enjoy in that way, make this plan, that plan. Okay, this didn't work out, no problem. You can have one more plan, better plan. You can call an expert, call an entrepreneur, get one more idea. This didn't work out. Do out of box thinking, do innovative thinking. All these concocted forms people have come up with. Instead of getting out of the ghostly motherly lap, working out so many things within that lap only of the ghost. So instead of getting out of this bodily concept, you're working out so many things within this ghostly body. So that's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is actually. Actually, Lord Chaitanya has come to indicate us you are sleeping on the lap of Maya, who is actually a Pishachi. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur continues, Tomare loite ami hoinu avatara. I have personally come down to this world. Why? Just to save you from this ghostly bodily concept of life that you are suffering day and night. As Narottam Das Thakur says, Diva Nishi Jwale. Day and night Jwale. Diva Nishi. Diva means morning. Nishi means night. Diva Nishi Jwale. Burning day and night with anxiety, agitation, suffering, misery, making more and more plans and complicating life more and more, without taking the advice of the Lord or the Lord's representative. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya, having understood these people are my children simply suffering in this world, he's personally come down to just to save you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes the word in singular, you, because the Lord is concerned about every individual soul as an individual. You can just imagine, so personal. And the Lord has a personal program for every individual. How to deliver us from this Maya, misery, bodily concept. And he also says, other than myself, there is no other a friend for you in this world. Ami bina bandhu ara ke ache tumhara. Ami bina bandhu ara. You don't have any other friend in this world. I am the only friend for you in this world. If you realize this, you are saved. These are all realizations of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So presented in such a simple fashion. Hmm? What is that saving? What is that saving? That saving is from the bodily concept of life. That saving is, I have forgotten that I am a spirit soul and a loving servant of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna. So he's, you have forgotten that. So then, so how is he saving? How is Lord Chaitanya saying? Enechi aushadhi maya nashi baro lagi. He has brought a medicine for destroying the illusion of Maya. And what is that medicine? Harinama Maha Mantra Lavo Tumi Magi. So that medicine is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So he is saying, Lord Chaitanya is saying, he has brought this medicine for you to come out of the bodily concept of life. Take this and be free from Maya. In another words in Bhagavatam, it is also explained, Muktir Hitva Anyata Rupam Swarupena Vyavastitihi. It is described, actually Mukti has two portions of understanding, two parts of understanding. Normally what people think, uh, or Atma Sakshatkara, or even self-realization, normally what people think is to realize I am this Atma, spirit, soul, not the body. But that is only one part of self-realization. Complete self-realization means, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, not only realizing that one is Atma, but also simultaneously knowing, realizing that I am Atma, not the body, and I am part and parcel of Krishna. I mean, eternal servant of Krishna. These two things constitute complete self-realization or complete liberation. Therefore, it is said here, Hitva Anyata Rupam. To give up the false conception that I am this body, that body, that body, this body. Hitva Anyatha Rupam. Hitva means to give up. Anyatha Rupam, to think that I am this body, that body, I am an American, I am an Indian, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, I am a cat, I am a dog, I am a human being, I am a Devata. To give up this Anyatha Rupam conception, Hitva, one part, then Swarupena Vyavastitihi, to also realize that I am part and parcel of Krishna. These two understanding constitute Mukti. And this is Bhagavatam's exposition. Otherwise, it is incomplete. So, Lord Krishna also talks about this in the Bhagavad Gita. In the 4th chapter, he says that, in fact, Krishna says that Sa evaya maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha. Krishna says, O Arjuna, that very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme Lord is today told by me to you. You see? So the entire Bhagavad Gita is an exposition of our relationship with Krishna. So how can anybody miss out after reading the Bhagavad Gita and still not become a devotee of Krishna? That means he has not even understood the basics of Bhagavad Gita. So the entire Gita is intended to awaken the soul to his reality, to his real identity, that he has an eternal relationship with Krishna. And Krishna also claims in so many places. In the 4th chapter, text 35 also, Krishna says that when you receive this transcendental knowledge, what is that knowledge? That I am spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and my eternal occupation, eternal duty is to serve Krishna as a servant primarily. Then there is further development from this serving as a servant. There are further developments also, which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But fundamentally, we are loving servants of the Lord. And that relationship Krishna time and again claims in the Bhagavad Gita. So many places. The 15th chapter, Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jivaloke Jivaputa Sanatana. You're my eternal part and parcel. Sanatanaha, Krishna has said. Eternally you're my part and parcel. Then Krishna has also said in the 14th chapter, text 14, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya, Aham Bija Pratapita, I am the seed giving father. Then in the 9th chapter, Krishna said, Pitaham Asya Jagataha. So many places Krishna has claimed that relationship also. So in this way, when we accept Krishna's words and the Acharya's words, then we will awaken to our constitutional position very easily. And the methodology is to chant Krishna's name. Then we will realize our constitutional position as a loving servant of the Lord. So Devyani was benefited from Maharaja Yayati's instruction in this way. And she understood, and she also became a devotee, surrendered herself, and went back to Godhead. I'll stop here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.